I suppose we should talk about the fact that there's many different types of cards. You know, you have your monsters, which are your key cards, and then you have spells and traps with unique abilities that can just change the game, you know, in various ways.
Well, it's a trading card game. That's all it is.
It's actually spawned many countries around the world for many years now.
Yeah. So, was it off the anime first? Was it?
Yes.
Yes.
It was a card game that was spawned from an anime back in the early 2000s.
So that's all it is, a card game. You just play a card game, nothing more?
Oh, you trade cards between players as well. So it creates these nice little societies.
Where do you meet other players?
Usually at tournaments. Tournaments are held at like shops or wherever. Or just friends really. Friends trade between themselves, I guess.
So, how long have you been into Yu-Gi-Oh?
Since it first started back in the early 2000s, really. As a young child, it was more just watching the show and just interested in the monsters, how they're imagined and all that. But over those many years, we've still maintained the interest, I guess.
Was it the same for you? Did you first see it through the cartoon?
Yeah, I first saw it through the cartoon and I just found it awesome that I could get my own cards of it. So that's how I got into it. I didn't seriously get into it till a few years ago though.
Cool. You said seriously get into it, so what would that involve?
So you would have just your kids who just play cards, but then you've got your collectors. So they're a bit more serious. They buy a lot more packs and they buy a lot more cards, and they just have more cards.
Well, you mentioned collecting and buying packs and cards. So there is a market for this.
Yes, there's a market for it. Yeah.
Where do these cards normally get sold?
Where do they get sold?
Yeah.
Well,
stores.
Yeah, there are shops that predominantly sell cards, trading cards. They sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and there are also gaming shops. I believe some supermarkets sell them as well.
But then the market, it appeals to so many people. Just you know, you've got your players which prefer certain cards and you know, play with them. But then you've got some collectors who prefer the artwork of certain cards, and it's just the artwork that really gets some people. Just
you say you're interested in the artwork?
Yes, some of the artwork is just amazing. It's got such good artists that it employs to work on these cards.
Yeah, they're very intricate pieces of art. Well, Konami's good. Konami brings out new material pretty consistently, so it keeps our interest. So there's always a demand for it, and also with the anime, they keep continuing the anime. And they always add new things to it, so new ways of summoning monsters. So there's new ways to play the game almost every year.
Yeah, well, nostalgia was kind of one of the things that got me to play with my friends, really, or at least got me to meet with friends. You know, it's a kind of nostalgia is what ties some people together and really drives them to play the game.
You mentioned meeting up with friends. Is this game seen as something of a socializing event?
Yeah, definitely. You can play with so many friends. You can make your own little tournaments, make your own games with special rules, or yeah, it doesn't have to be so official.
And have you seen this game as a socializing event?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a socializing event. It's not a game you can play by yourself.
Yeah.
It's not cards that you can buy by yourself. You have to have other people that you're willing to trade cards with. Otherwise, it's not a trading card game.